Awesome. Hey, Tyler. Hey, Jim,
Hey,
how's it going?
Hey,
So
good.
on this, you've been on the show many times, and you guys just three guys sitting around on a Zoom call. So I say, if you walked up to these three guys, what do I do? I'm a dentist. I'm a Dr. Nacho. I'm a broker. These are the things I do in the circle of dentisting life. Tyler and Jim, just share with our audience to orient them. What do you guys do to help dentists cry less on the inside or outside and be more successful in their dentisting life? Tyler, I'll let you share what you do with your company.
to make it simple, we insure your hands,
Right.
your back, if something happens where you clinically can't work, that's what we do. So when people ask that are outside of dentistry, whether it's family or friends, hey, what do you guys do? It makes what we do seem just a little bit cool.
Yeah.
We insure people's hands.
I like that.
It's not.
It's not cool, but
sometimes some things are important that don't seem cool because you can't get to do the cool things unless you protect yourself. Right now, dental students are investing hundreds of thousands of dollars. People who are practice owners invest hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. All of us are concerned, hey, what if something happens to us, short-term disability, medium-term, long-term? To reach out to what you guys do for us, you can text DDS to 55444 to learn more about what you guys do. Jim, share with us, what's been the deal with disability insurance during the pandemic? Has it been challenging for people to reach out to you guys? Are you able to do things remotely? Tell our audience a little bit about that.
Sure. You just sound like Jerry Seinfeld, by the way. What's the deal?
Not surprised. I love Seinfeld. So,
So it's been interesting. We've had some people that have been out of work, almost a forced simulation of what it's like not to get a paycheck. But others that have just realized how important it is to have disability insurance. And so we've been busy as ever. We definitely feel for those who haven't been working, but a lot of people have been working. There's been a pent up demand for, as you know, for dentistry. And it's interesting too, because getting disability insurance now, there's one less requirement during the pandemic, and that's that dreaded nurse's visit. So right. If you wanted to apply for disability insurance and you're wondering when's the time, well, the time is now because you can do it without seeing the nurse.
I like that. So take any pandemic win you can get. That's my philosophy in life. Any pandemic win. So we talk about the circle of life, and I have this back here to remind myself that dreams don't come true, because I wanted to play in the NBA, and here I am. This is a pretty good life too. But if you held up this ball like the circle of dentisting life from the Lion King, where are some times where people connect with you on this circle of dentisting life, Tyler, from dental school and beyond? Where should they be connecting with someone to learn more about disability so they make sure they protect themselves?
Sometimes we connect with things that have nothing to do with disability. I think as a result of being in this business and having thousands of dentists, I think arguably people like us can be one of the most connected people in dentistry, maybe more than CPAs or attorneys, and relationships matter in dentistry big time. And you don't know when you're going to need them, but when you do need them, having those relationships, they can get certain things done. So
such a
sometimes
good
people connect with us.
Always be connecting. Maybe one day, like the butcher introduced me to my wife because my wife came in and the butcher's like, you should date. That's not a real story. That's just an example. But Jim, you've been to Philadelphia for the Boost Camp. What are some of that's a great point from Tyler. What are some of those connectivity things? Who do you meet that you might be able to say, hey, I know someone buying a practice, selling, looking for a job? How does that work in the DDS, Doctors Disability Specialist?
First of all, I miss the live events. We definitely enjoy when we come down and spend time with our friends, and we've got a lot of Nacho friends now. So certainly, we'll be talking with the client, and they'll bring something up during a meeting, and we'll connect them with, like a Lisa Mergens or a Vivek Kinra or what have you, and it's just the list goes on, and you don't even know what's going to be the next need. So just these different interpersonal relationships that we have has really proved invaluable. And Paul, it's really because of this forum that you set up here online.
I mean, I want
Dr. Goodman to add to that. Sometimes it's not even just the connections, but because we have these conversations literally 10, 12 times a day for 13 years in a row, we can have conversations with clients that they really can't have with many other people in their lives, including their spouses, just venting about dentistry, telling them that it will be okay.
I think it's a really good, and if you're a dentist watching this, that people do that to us. Like, I'm doing your filling, I'm like, oh, your sister does sound kind of obnoxious, because they want to vent to us about some other piece of their life because it feels safe, because we're never going to meet the sister. We're never going to do that. And I think that's an important part of life. And also what you shared about connecting, sometimes it's just important to meet good people for the sake of meeting good people, be friends first, and then magically something happens later with buying a practice. or selling a practice or finding a job or solving a problem, right? You know, someone has to go out on maternity leave. You say, I know somebody, a young dentist who just graduated from UNE who could fill that role. I want to share how to reach out to you guys, because my goal with this is keep up the momentum. Just find out whether you're a student, whether you're a baby age dentist, whether you're a medium age dentist, you just need your policy looked at. Maybe it hasn't kept pace with how much money that you're making. Text DDS to 55444 to learn more. Jim and Tyler, would love having you on, but I want you to share before we jump off. You know, I mean, people might think, I won't ever be disabled, I'll take the risk. But where does this come into buying a practice? And you guys had a specific situation where someone had a challenge with buying a practice because they didn't have the right disability insurance. Share with us about that, because that's my goal, is to kindly annoy dentists into good decisions. What happened in that scenario?
So one thing I'm starting to realize is, I think, sort of like in dentistry where patients don't love coming to your office, there's a certain anxiety, they don't like doing it. I'm starting to realize the same can be true with us. You know, people don't want to talk about insurance.
Yeah.
And I think there's that anxious feeling. We try to make it a little bit better. We try to make it fun. But to your question about buying a practice, you know, banks have to lend money to somebody. You know, they borrow it from me and you in our checking account at 0%, and they have to lend it to somebody. And compared to restaurants and yogurt shops that go out of business all the time, dentistry is really good risk. You know, the banks will beg for their business, and the only way a dentist really goes out of business is if you're disabled. You may not make what you think, even with the pandemic.
That's a good point, Tyler. Jim, like, people might not be able to get the loan though without the proper disability insurance. Does that happen, Jim?
That's the risk. A dentist goes out of business pretty much if they're disabled. Of course, there's other examples where they do actually go out of business, but through the big picture, it just doesn't happen. So the banks make you get disability, and it's a good idea anyways. You're personally guaranteeing a loan. It would be nuts, Nacho nuts, words, to have a $10,000 a month loan payment predicated on the expectation that you can produce a boatload of dentistry, and then if you can't, that's the purpose of the disability.
Paul, we're now using your lingo. Isn't that pretty funny?
I like that. Yeah, you're already talking Nacho.
So we did. We had a situation recently where somebody wanted to buy a practice. The banker was on us for the disability insurance. We went to apply. It didn't go well. We did solve it eventually, but it's funny because, you know, when you first graduate, you're like, never gonna get hurt. I'm invincible. I'm young. And sometimes it's a good idea to get it just for kind of the thinking ahead almost.
And just because you want to buy disability doesn't mean there's somebody willing to sell it to you.
Right.
You know, and it's hard to get.
They don't teach us in dental school, and they teach us more, because in life, timing is everything. Timing is another word for luck. And if your disability policies prevent you from getting a loan, as a broker, that could make you lose out on a practice due to timing. Maybe someone else is ready to go. So let Jim and Tyler be your timing enhancement specialist. Increase your luck. Before we jump off, just share, Jim, how can people reach out to you guys directly? We have our text code, text DDS to 5.
Sure. Yep. Our emails.
Out to you guys directly.
James.Kachmar, Kachmar at ddsteam.net, and Tyler.DeStefano, DESTEFANO, at ddsteam.net.
All right, perfect. Well, hang around. You can share that in the chat. Thanks for leading us off on this business and leadership Toppings show. Really proud to have you guys as key resources, sponsors, but more importantly, friends.
Thank you. You as well. We're proud to be here, and thank you for your friendship.
So this is the vibe of this, where we go through who can help you in your dentisting neighborhood. Some of these things are going to be fun to improve your practice. Some of these things are going to be things to protect yourself. Some of these things to get yourself ready for the next step. Disability insurance, so important. So we're ready for our next guest here to come. You can share your screen. And while we do that, we're going to have tons of free prizes. So one of my favorite things is to share with people how they can order off of a menu of dental treatment. So if you text menu to 215-543-6454, you'll get a 60-minute course about how to present treatment plans to a patient, and also a bonus financial agreement that we use in our office, the yellow financial form, that I've used to help get patients to move forward with momentum and say yes to millions of dollars of treatment. Sometimes you just need tools to help you.